I'm Shae Russell from mining.com.au. Joining me today is Frazer Tabeart, the Managing Director of Alma Metals. Frazer, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, Shae. How are you?
Good, thank you. Not as good as these results are. Now, I am looking at an announcement from about a week ago that says best results to date at your Briggs Copper Project in Queensland. Now, I believe this has all come out of the first drill hole. Can you talk me through some of the numbers?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and just to sort of give some context here, the average grade of the deposit in our published mineral resource estimate is 0.25% copper. So let's use that as sort of the baseline here. So, you can imagine we were pretty impressed when we were able to put out a drill hole of 276 metres at 0.45% copper, and that's right from surface. So pretty much the entire length of this hole was mineralised at 60, 70% more than the average grade. And then if we actually look at the top 50 metres of this hole, we've got an average grade in that top 50 metres of about 1%. So we're looking at something there that's 4 times the average grade of the deposit, right from surface. So fantastic result. It's one hole of a number from this same drill pad. So we're trying to sort of minimise the amount of moving and maximise the amount of metres we get. We've got another 2 holes from this line already at the lab, so we're looking forward to some results from that fairly shortly.
As you've alluded to there, significantly impressive, especially based on what the known mineralisation was. Tell me, what does this mean for the project going forward?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of obvious ramifications here. One is, and probably the most important one is that, a long run of mineralisation like this at much higher grade is something that we can sort of put into our resource update and really likely to underpin a higher grade starter position. So if we can, consider starting mining at 0.4% copper, that's a huge difference from 0.25. Gives us a lot of optionality in about how we might go about, mining the project. And then the other thing is, of that near surface high grade intercept, the top 30 to 40 metres of that is all oxidised, so it's weathered. And we're starting to see that in a number of holes now. In fact, when we look at it, all the holes in the project have some degree of weathering in the top between 10 and 40 metres. So there's certainly a thin layer on top that we will assess as the possibility for a small scale startup heap leach operation, which would be a much lower cost way of getting this thing into production. So it's giving us huge optionality on how we would go about starting operations here. Now, obviously, we've got to do some network and feasibility studies, but it's just giving us that optionality that many other projects don't have.
Listen, there's certainly favourable economics here for you, which is going to be a wonderful wind in your tails over the coming months and years of drilling. But tell me, we've got to get through to the next couple of months to tide us over for 2024. What can we see over the next couple of months to take us out to the end of the year?
Yeah, well, the drilling program's still going. So, this was just the first hole of, we hope to drill between 8 and 10 holes in this program. So, as I mentioned before, the next 2 holes are at the lab. We should have results from that, I think, late September, early October. And then we'll see continuous results flowing every 2 to 3 weeks, from that. That's going to lead into an update to the JORC resource. So we'd be looking at, publishing an update of that resource. I think, realistically, by the time we get all of the assays in at the end of the year, that's sort of the time frame we're looking at. And then, it's also going to provide material for a metallurgical test work. So we should start seeing results from that flow by the end of the year as well, particularly some early work on comminution testing, which is important in understanding what our power consumption might look like. So a lot of news flow on resource, on how we might be able to extract that, and then that's all going to feed into completing a scoping study sometime in the first quarter next year. So a lot to look forward to over the next 4 to 6 months.
There's not just a positive outlook over the next couple of months, but it's very pleasing to hear a managing director have line on sight of what the finish line here is, and that is pathway to production. I look forward to hearing more of this story unfold as we go ahead. Listen, Frazer, thank you so much for being here for the update. Love the pictures of the rocks
that you
put out in your ASX announcement, and I can't wait to hear more.
Sounds good. Thank you.